Maker Max here. Today I'm going to go over how to change out and clean out your Fleck 5600 head unit and sand. This is an iron filter to remove the iron from my well water, and this is a water softener which uses salt and a resin inside, and we're going to change out the green sand in this and some of the head unit components, and this one uses potassium permanganate as the backwash. These are very simple units to work on, and the parts are inexpensive. In order to clean out your iron filter, here's the tools you need. 5-gallon bucket or larger, screwdriver, flathead, some pliers, needle nose really helps, bag of gravel, the green sand, a hose to siphon out the tank, and not required, but it really helps to have a funnel to refill it. This is about $8 on Amazon. And an old towel to wipe up any water spills. First thing you gotta do before you get started, unplug the unit, and then I recommend taking a wet rag or towel and just wiping everything off. Okay. Also back here, you need to flip this lever so that it reads bypass and not service. And then you want to depressurize the system, so just rotate this knob all the way around slowly through the different settings, and you'll hear all the pressure get released. That way when you open up everything, it's not going to squirt water. Make sure the service is definitely turned on bypass, then you can take this screw and coupler off. I like to store all my parts in the lid. You also got to disconnect our drain hose just by wiggling that around. That'll come off. This will probably leak a bunch of water. And loosen this connection, which is the potassium permanganate backwash line. Since I'm replacing this piston in here, I'm going to take this head off first. This part just pulls out. Next, we're going to remove these 3 screws, and that'll allow us to get the 2 pistons out. Alright, now that we got that metal part removed, you should be able to just pull this out. That was easy. And this one just pulls right out. Alright. Because this is an iron one, you can see that these are all covered with iron. They probably still work, but it's been many years since it's been serviced, so I figure I'll just replace it. Make sure you pull them all out. There's a couple extras in there. Now let's take a look inside there. You can see everything's taken out, and there's the hole that goes down inside the canister. Inside of here we have our injectors, a filter, and some injectors. We pull that off, and we'll go look at this on the bench. Inside of here is the impeller that tells the unit how much water's run through it before it backwashes. It's a good idea to look inside of here. So inside there's a little gear. Not much you can do about this thing except replace it. There's a seal. I just want to clean up this edge. There's a little gook on it. And then in here is the actual impeller. So it's all discolored from the iron, but it still spins pretty good in there. And the teeth look like they're in good shape. So you have the injector here, and now we're going to take it apart. So inside of this section is where your injectors are. First you have this screen. Here's the new one. You can see the difference. You can clean this, but this one's pretty gunged up with grime compared to this one. So for the $2, I'm just going to replace it. There's an ejector right there. Using a flathead, we could just take this out. All right, and that little hole, there's a tiny hole in the end of that. That little hole gets plugged up with iron. I've already actually cleaned this. Then there's another smaller injector down in there. Right there. So we notice both of these injectors are white. But according to the website I got the parts from, an iron filter is supposed to have gray. So I'm going to be putting the gray ones in. And the difference is, in the gray one, the hole is much bigger. So, reverse installation. Little one goes in first. Unscrew this. I loosened it already with a wrench. That's pretty gross inside. And using a small pair of pliers. Maybe. Oh, I can't get that plastic thing out, which is this. So I'm just going to soak it in some vinegar for a while and see what happens. In the meantime, let's take off this piece. Now, if you notice with the pliers, I'm not grabbing the center. It's catching right there. Next, I'm going to replace the green sand inside this. An iron filter takes green sand, and a water softener takes a thing called resin. So just grab this and just loosen that and unscrew it. And then I'm going to take this over to the sink and clean it up. Alright, the next step is to get the water. This thing's full of water, it's really heavy, so I'm going to siphon out the water into a large trash can. If you wiggle the hose while you're doing this, you'll get some of the resin out, or the sand. You want to wiggle this thing around and pull out this pipe. Careful, there's a thing at the bottom. Want to check to make sure this isn't broken. Take real good care of it. The first thing you want to do is rinse the gravel. Just run through some water to get all the dirt out of it. So I've rinsed this about 15 times and now the water is nice and clear. I'm going to take the pipe that I cleaned, check the bottom, make sure it's not broken. Install it in here. Put a little tape on the end so you don't get any material inside of there. There's a little bump in the bottom this fits right into. So you got to move it around till it lines up right there. That's where the funnel comes in real handy. Helps to keep from making a mess. The first thing you want to do is add about 6 inches of gravel to the bottom. Are this size, which is 48 inches tall and 9 inches in diameter, which means they're going to take 1 cubic foot of sand, which is 2 of these bags. Next, remove the duct tape. Putting the head back on is just the reverse of the order we took it off. Make sure you get this in the center there. And screw it down. It's time to put the injector back in here. We're going to put the screen in there. Put the little cover on it. Slide it right in there. Hold it in place. And then put in the 2 screws to lock it in. I've changed angles here. I'm going to put the injector back in. I'm going to put a little bit of the silicone lubricant on here. Don't use anything oil-based Just spread that around with your finger. Just make sure that this helps the seals last longer. Goes right there. All right, again, put a little bit of silicone lubricant on each one. Spread it around. Put that in the hole. Doesn't matter which way they go. Then we put a spacer. Then we're going to put another one of these and just keep repeating. Then we're going to put the piston in. I'm going to cover this with the silicone too so it slides down in there really nice. When you're all done, this is going to stick up a little bit. That's okay. When you put the metal plate back on, it's going to pull that down. And finally put the head back on. It's got a little tab here. When you put it on there, just want to lock that little tab in. Screw and washer to attach those together. So just rotate this, there we go. We'll put that in right there. Once everything's all hooked up and buttoned down, slowly move this lever from bypass to service. Let it fill up kind of slow so you don't stress the system. Once that's all done, you're going to want to run this and do a backwash. The easiest way to do that is just put this on regenerate and just let it go. It's probably going to take about 2 hours, so don't do it when you're at home.